I'm not going to actually replace mine because all of mine are working, but if you're needing to replace any or all of these switches, I'm going to show you what it takes. Now, it's not an easy job, so let me warn you in advance. This is not something that, you know, you just pop something out or unscrew something. It's more involved because it requires removing the steering wheel, which requires removing the airbag and disabling the airbag before you start. So there's a lot of safety precautions, and of course you're going to need a steering wheel puller tool to properly do this. So like I said, this is not a job that you just pry these out, unfortunately, but it can be done if you are patient and have some of the tools. So these are the replacement switches. And you see they come with all of them individually wrapped. And you see they just basically click in. There's not a separate electrical wire that you plug in. So like there's the volume button. You see it's just kind of integrated electrical connector there, and then that little tab there holds it in. Similarly, this one, the connector and the tabs that hold it in are the same part. Same with that one. And this one's kind of like the volume button where it has electrical connects there, and then that holds that in. So now that you see how these go in, it should make more sense. These appear to be OEM quality switches, I mean, right down to the graphics on them. I will tell you one little trick you can do if you're having trouble with the graphics coming off on any of your switches. You can coat them with a little bit of ceramic coating, and that seems to extend their life. What you don't want to do when cleaning them is to scrub them with like a harsh cleanser or anything, because that will speed up the lettering coming off. These come with a 1-year warranty. Shows you how to do that. I'm ready. If any of my switches go out or the lights go out, I will replace them at that time, and I'll have all brand new switches. According to my shop manual, these are not serviceable, so they say you can't get in here and change out the light bulb or anything. If it ever comes to the time where I'm having to do this for real, I will of course disassemble the old ones and see if there's truth to that or not. Replacing your steering wheel switches requires you to remove the steering wheel, which requires you to start by disabling the airbags in zone 3 and then removing the inflator module and the horn switch. To disable the airbag, first you got to remove the supplemental restraint system fuse from the fuse block. Then remove the connector position assurance from the steering wheel module yellow 4-way connector located left of the steering column near the knee bolster. And then disconnect the steering wheel module yellow 4-way connector. And it should be somewhere around your parking brake. Next, we need to remove the airbag module. There's 2 access points on either side of the steering wheel. You basically need some sort of blunt object, perhaps a small screwdriver, press in there, and that should release the springs. The airbag module should pop up a little bit, grab it, and then disconnect the electrical connectors, and obviously be very careful since it is an airbag. With the airbag removed, you need to remove the horn plunger, basically press it inward, then turn it 90 degrees and it should release. There should be 2 screws remove those, and then remove the horn switch. Removing the steering wheel requires you to make an alignment mark so that when you put it back on, it'll be lined up. Remove the steering wheel nut, and then use your steering wheel puller tool to remove the steering wheel. Now that you have your steering wheel off, flip it over. There's shroud retaining screws on the back. Remove those, and then you can remove the shroud from the steering wheel. And you're going to need a blunt tool into the wire harness cavity and use moderate pressure to remove whichever switch that you're wanting to remove, and then replace with the new one. Installations and reversal removal. Once you've got all those switches replaced, replace the shroud, and then mount your steering wheel. Basically use your alignment mark, line it up, press it down, and then tighten the steering wheel nut to 29 foot-pounds. And then when you replace the horn switch, those screws tighten to 50 inch-pounds. With your airbag inflator, position it on the steering wheel, reconnect all your electrical, and then press it onto the steering wheel so that the leaf spring connection clicks on, and then pull the sides of it just to make sure that it's fully engaged. To re-enable the airbags, first you want to remove the key from the ignition if you didn't do that already. Connect that yellow 4-way connector that's underneath the knee bolster and install the CPA to the steering wheel module. Reinstall the SIR fuse in the fuse block, and then basically this is where the dangerous part comes, so I don't like this at all, but stay away from all airbags in the vehicle and turn on the ignition but leave the engine off, and you should see the airbag indicator flash 7 times and then turn off. And if that doesn't happen, then you're going to need to do a airbag diagnostic check, which is well beyond what this video is covering. So I know this wasn't my normal video where I dig in, get my hands dirty, and do all the work on camera, but this job was just one that, since I don't need to do it right now, I really didn't want to go through all of it and mess with the airbag. So hopefully you understand, but hopefully the video was still helpful to you, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Thank you.